What the hell are we supposed to use, man? Harsh language?
Hey now.
What's
Ahoy.
up?
How we doing?
Pretty
Doing
good.
good.
You got that
I'm ready
big
for summer to be over.
Really?
Yeah, summer sucks. I'm starting to realize.
I like the summer. This summer has felt like really nostalgic for me for some reason. I don't know why. Like nothing really about it specifically other than just like the weather. I think I've just spent more time outside this summer than I have in recent years. Like I've been trying to walk more and like, just do stuff. And it just reminded me of like, it really reminded me of how online, like terminally online I am. And like you guys are too, like our friend group really is. Over the weekend, I actually went to go see Louis C.K.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, it was a really cool show. It was an outdoor venue, very fun, very nice. And Tim Dillon opened for him. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Tim Dillon, but he's like one of the comedians who's like in the Joe Rogan sphere of like podcasters who are for some reason now like political commentators whom people trust. Tim Dillon's having dinners at the White House with the fucking vice president and stuff. Like it doesn't really make a lot of sense. And so I was going into this expecting it to be like those types of people showing up like, oh yeah, we want to see Tim Dillon like shit on libs or talk about Israel and stuff. But it wasn't that at all. Like there was no MAGA hats. There was none of that. It was just like normal people going to see a comedy show that really seemed to just care about Louis C.K. and nothing else. And it was really refreshing seeing like an actual comedy show without any of the other like social or cultural bullshit that we deal with from time to time. And then I realized I was like, well, we're just in bubbles because we spend a lot of time online and that's where a lot of the fucking, attack vectors are.
Yeah.
But
That's nice.
But yeah, I understand what you're saying. I love the fall. The fall is part of why it feels nostalgic. It's starting to cool off a little bit, getting that feeling of like when you go back to school.
Yeah.
But I feel you.
Summer sucks unless you're near water.
I am.
Yeah.
Like every
as you know,
everything else. Yeah. Everything else you do outside is better suited just doing it in spring or fall.
Definitely.
So it's like, what's the point of summer if you're not near like a beach or something,
Especially where you live. I assume it's hotter by you than it is by me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel
An
that.
unseasonably cool summer here. Kids had soccer on Saturday and it was like 80 degrees and they felt like they were going to die. I was like, you guys don't even know.
That's crazy.
Good luck.
Nice.
Yeah.
So we got a good episode for you guys folks today. This is episode 143 and it is that day. Oh yes, the Make Marvin Watch Day. And this month was my choice and I chose Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from 1990. One of my favorite movies growing up. And the reason I picked it is because it's actually being re-released in theaters this week, I believe. Or maybe it was just this weekend.
I think it already was, yes.
I think it was this weekend that passed. Today's Monday that we're recording.
So you didn't get to go watch it. That was going to be my question.
No, I wanted to, but I didn't get around to it. But they re-released it in theaters for the 35th anniversary. So it was timely. So stick around for that.
Try to check Box Office Mojo for the numbers, but they didn't.
I think Nick was going to.
They didn't have any.
Try to take his daughter. I got to ask him if he actually went. But yeah, stick around, folks. That'll be later on in the episode. We got a couple of other big things to talk about today, so we better jump right into it.
I did watch first 2 episodes of Alien Earth.
With a franchise that has so many different movies and now like so many layers of lore to it, like really what can you do different? I don't know. I personally am feeling like it's a little bit getting a little oversaturated, but I don't know if I'm in the minority or not. I haven't really explored a lot of like what people are talking about. And I mostly liked these 2 episodes, but start with you guys. Dusty, what'd you think about it overall?
Yeah, I thought it was great. I'm enjoying it so far. Noah Hawley, I'm a big fan. He's good at taking other people's IP and making a good story out of that people like. You know, he did Fargo, then he did Legion, and now he's doing this. So
yeah,
he's got a good track record, and he paid homage to the original Alien and the first one. It felt like, you know, the sets and everything. I guess he said Ridley Scott was actually a little surprised about how much they drew from the aesthetic of the first movie. And then the second one was more like Aliens, where it was just a lot of death and destruction. But yeah, I'm liking it so far.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. I thought it pulled from both on both episodes. It seems like it's pulling from like the original Alien and that more actiony Aliens with all the killing and the gore and stuff. So that's cool.
Yeah.
I like this alien. He's badass. He's like doing this like camouflage shit, being sneaky, and then he's also just like ripping faces off left and right. So that's cool. I hope they go more into I don't know if he is a android or what, the guy that's like training all the little
android,
kids.
Yeah, he's a synth. He's a Timothy Olyphant's character. Yeah.
And I love
cyborg, synth, and hybrids is what they define him as.
Yeah.
So far, my favorite character, honestly, is the cyborg guy.
Morrow?
He's sticking to the
black guy who was like on the ship. Yeah, he's the evil corpo guy. Marvin, come on, what you doing?
I know, but he's fucking badass. He's got that arm.
He is pretty badass. Yep. He's got that Wakanda
to the
arm.
Mission.
Bucky head.
I like this. I like the lore that they're giving with all the like the what's our guy Elon Musk versus the other
Boy Genius,
like Corpo versus
Corpo. Cavalier one. Yeah. What's his name?
Boy Cavalier.
Yeah. I like that. I like they basically like have all this territory and they're like giving you like really good backstory on like kind of how things work in this universe. So yeah, I'm liking it a lot.
That's really my main thing. Like, I think that was a problem that Alien Romulus had for me when we watched it, was that it didn't really do anything different. It essentially just made...
It gave you a little bit at the beginning.
A little.
But it wasn't much different.
No. Yeah. And this kind of feels a little bit of the same, except that I do think that they're taking a more lore approach to it, in that they want to sort of add to the lore in the world. Now, Noah Hawley was very critical, I think, of Prometheus and Covenant for ditching the retro futuristic look of Alien, like the classic Alien, in favor of those movies. They have like that like fucking Apple aesthetic. They look like fucking like Apple
and holograms and high tech
character, nothing, no soul.
So early on in the production, word had gotten out that Noah Hawley wasn't going to be paying too much attention to the franchise's lore, particularly Covenant and Prometheus. In fact, we had gotten a quote from Gina Balin, who I think was one of the executive producers or something. And she had said, everything doesn't have to fit together the way you expect from Marvel. Fans don't expect that in this universe. It doesn't have the same pressure. So they kind of went into this being like, we kind of don't care about the lore. We don't care about like the architects and the this and the that and whatever. And you could kind of feel that.
Yeah.
But the first two episodes felt like they really feel like a love letter to the original Alien, like so much so that like large parts of the first episode specifically felt like it could have been like a deleted scene from the original. Like they got the sets designed perfectly. They had that like grainy sort of like 70s style footage. Like the characters looked like people in the 70s with like the hairstyles and the clothes. It just felt like it was literally straight out of the 70s. It was kind of fantastic.
Yeah, it was.
You know,
did you recognize our girl from a different sci-fi show?
Which girl? Sylvia?
Was it Sylvia? No.
That was Dame.
Go back to the
main character.
I think
Wendy?
It was Siberian. No. It wasn't Siberian.
Yeah. I don't know. Wendy's fairly new. She's Kyle Chandler's daughter.
Yes.
I can't find her on this list. Let me just quickly look.
Was she one of the Lost Boys?
No. He's talking about one of the original crew because
she's
I know
one
what
of
you're
the
talking
crew that
about
died.
because I looked her up because I recognized her and I couldn't find her.
You couldn't find her,
No.
so you don't know who it is. So
No
she
idea.
is.
But we're talking about the same
I
person.
can't remember her name. Yeah, but so she's the doctor from Severance that. I forgot what her name was. It starts with an R.
Yeah, I don't recall.
Really?
Yeah, the doctor from the one who was like treating him secretly. The black lady.
Yeah, the one that reintegrated him. Yeah, the black lady.
Oh no,
That's
I didn't.
her.
I didn't recognize her. You're talking about her.
Are you talking about the
She's
zoologist?
She
Is
plays
that who it was?
Chibuzo. Yeah, she's the zoologist. I
That's
think.
her. Yeah, Karen Aldridge. Yeah,
No,
that is her.
I didn't recognize her. There was somebody else I recognized on the crew that I couldn't find in the cast.
Yeah, so she just had like a fro in this. That's maybe why you didn't recognize her.
She's saying I'm racist.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. So I really like the aesthetic. He did a really great job of that. You know, they brought back Mother, which is the supercomputer that controls the ship and all that. That was cool.
Yeah.
And then I guess so far, like I don't really know what's coming for the series, but the first 2 episodes clearly expanded the world in a way that I think is pretty great so far. And it's not just focusing on Weyland-Yutani as the evil corporation. Well, now we're seeing that the world and what's left of it in this future of this dystopian future is that the world is controlled by like 5 corporations, I think. The first 2 episodes don't name
likely probably all evil.
Yeah, for
like
sure.
Which one's more evil?
Yeah. So the first 3, there's 3 that aren't mentioned specifically, but it's been mentioned in the press and stuff. So I don't know what they are.
Press junkets. Yeah.
But these 2 so far, we're seeing Weyland-Yutani and the main one, which is Prodigy. And Prodigy is led by the boy genius, Boy Cavalier. And so these first 2 episodes introduce us to Prodigy and their Neverland Research Center. And we're introduced to a whole nother group of life forms now. We've only known synths and cyborgs. Now they're saying these are hybrids. These are human minds uploaded into the body of a synth. And
Crazy.
You know, he's whisking these sick children away from their tragic fates because they have cancer and various diseases. And he's essentially granting them immortality. In reality, of course, he's an idealistic, terrible technocrat with an ego, and we'll probably see his dark side in coming episodes. But
for sure. I mean, me and C were talking about the transferring consciousness thing, and I wanted to hear what you guys think happens, like if this were actually possible. Like, to me, it's like if this were possible, if this happened, like you, the person that gets your consciousness transferred, you would die to yourself, but to everyone else, it would still be the same person if they're transferring your consciousness as it was in that exact period, right? Like,
I don't know. She didn't die to herself. They gave her directives that overwrote her emotions.
No, I'm saying,
but she
her
physically
consciousness
died.
Her body,
her soul basically is dead, and her mind is transferred. So is that a new person, or is that the same soul and consciousness?
Right. Oh, that's what I was saying.
I don't know. I think the way that she's playing it, Chandler, is that I think she's just playing it as she's the same person in a different body.
Right. I'm just saying, like, I'm just talking like hypothetically.
Perspective?
Philosophical question. Like, to everyone else, you would be the same person. Like, if you, Dan, today got transferred into another body, as you are right now, to us, it was like, oh, it's still Dan. It's still, it's still the same. Obviously, it wouldn't be, though, because you died. You know?
Yeah.
This is the same dilemma that they confront in Severance, which we talked about. Like, it is your, inner innie and outie. Are they 2 different people? Are they the same person? They explored in Foundation because the Empire is just like, it's just a clone of the same person. Is that really the same person because it's a clone, or is it a different person with their own different soul? Like, it's explored a lot in cinema, and it's pretty good.
Well, Severance gives you a very specific answer to the question, which is that you are 2 different people. Like Severance makes it a firm point to acknowledge that the innie and the outie are different people. What I think is closer to what they're doing in this show is Altered Carbon. I don't know if you guys have watched those 2 seasons of that on Netflix.
Yeah, like an upload. Yep, I watched it.
That show, for those of you that don't know, is a dystopia. Always a dystopia. When are we going to get content about like good futures? Because I'm just like, I don't know. The trope is kind of like, I'm done with it.
There was a good future in...
we're living in a dystopia currently.
Damn, I have to come back to that.
I mean, it's not necessarily dystopian in Alien Earth. It's just, it's a corporate oligarchy for sure. And
I think, no, it's dystopian. This dude is, her brother is working for the fucking Marines, and he's like a medical personnel, and he's living in communal housing. Like, it's not good. It's not good if you're not a billionaire. So it's dystopian for everybody but billionaires, I guess we could say.
They even mentioned that in this second episode when the ship hits the apartments,
the tower,
and they're like trying to save people based on
and you saw
their net worth and all that, right?
And you see those rich fat cats who were up there fucking having like a ditty party.
Oh my god, that was wild!
And all their makeup and shit get torn apart because they didn't want to leave because they thought they were better than
I was expecting to see Luthen. I'm like, oh shit,
Luthen. So yeah, I don't know. I think these first 2 episodes were really good. I'm not blown away by it. Sorry, Winnie. Stepped on my dog. She's laying under my feet as usual. I don't know that I was blown away, but obviously it's an 8-episode series and we'll have to see what happens. But like, I don't know. I don't know if I'm like, I think Prometheus and Covenant like really turned me off to this franchise now. Just because like, I don't know. Those movies were just not good. And I don't like the lore that he tried to establish. I don't think was good. Like, again, we talk about this a lot. Like when you remove the mystery from the horror, like it's not scary anymore. You know, if you give 10 movies of explaining why Michael Myers is evil and that, like, it just becomes nothing. And in the first Alien,
I don't know.
Go ahead.
I don't know if I agree. And I'll give you like a very basic example. Like, just because you know
you're ending our friendship right now, just know that. No, I'm kidding.
No, nothing about. It's just like so just like to your point about the mystery behind something, like just because you know like just because you know everything about, let's say like a bear doesn't mean it's any less scary, right? Like the potential for it to murder you or for it to be scary doesn't go down. So I don't know if I would agree about the mystery part in something like this, where it's just like,
yeah, they kind of explain that in the dialogue. I mean, Timothy Olyphant's character says, you know, you used to be food and now you're not food anymore, but you still are when something, comes along and it wants to eat you. Like there's not much you can do unless you can fight it off. So
I get where you're coming from, Marvin, but think of this, right? What's scarier to you?
Okay.
When you go into the woods, you know there's a chance of being attacked by a bear. But when you get attacked by the bear, generally you'll have seen it head on, right? It's not going to like sneak up on you and fuck you up.
I don't know. Have you seen, what was that documentary about the fucking guy?
Cocaine Bear?
Nah.
No. The Grizzly Man. What's
Grizzly Man?
Yeah, I watched it on your stream when you watched that dumbass shit.
That was crazy.
That was good. That was a good documentary.
All right. But what's scarier, though? And realistically, a bear or a great white shark? When you're in the water that's murky and you don't know what's below you and you're like, oh, fuck, like anything could be down there. Like it could be
I would
anything.
say, no. Okay, no, that's fair. That's I would say, though, for me personally, both can be I would probably say the shark is probably more scary just because I got less control of my own self.
I'm saying
if it's pitch black and if there could be God knows what in the fucking woods, I would be almost as scared as the fucking shark.
Yeah, well, let me clarify. I'm not saying that this isn't scary, what they're presenting to us. And it's still a murderous alien creature. It's scary. But I'm saying that the franchise as a whole has explained away so much now that, like, I am no longer really afraid of them. Like, in the first movie, in Alien, it was just like a thing that was there. Like, how did it get there? We don't know. Where does it come from? We don't fucking know. What is it? What does it want? What does it do? Like, It's just
we still don't know most of that stuff.
I know, but like we do though, because we know that fucking in Prometheus they went to fucking God knows where and they gathered fucking spores and the black goo got in somebody and created a face hugger and then created like a proto fucking xenomorph, and then David, being a psycho fucking android working for Yutani, was obsessed with it, and then he harvested it and went to the engineer's home planet and fucking experimented with it and then created the xenomorph prototype B, and fucking like we just know it. Like it's not scary anymore. It's just like it's too much. Now that's why I appreciate Noah Hawley's approach, and he might be like picking and choosing what elements from those two movies he wants. I'm just saying we're a long far cry away from what those two Alien movies established, like Alien and Aliens.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, but
really the hook of this show is that it's on Earth. That's it.
I love that. Yeah, it's awesome.
Well, I mean, it's not even really exploring like the aliens themselves. I mean, the aliens are there, even the other creatures, but this is more about like,
totally.
I don't know if you guys listen to the podcast. There's like an official podcast where they interview Noah and some of the actors and stuff. But he's like, in the first movie, it's space truckers, and in the second movie, it's space marines, and they're really kind of just fighting the man or the system or the corporation. And so he wanted to keep that, but he wanted to bring it down to Earth. And now you have this, the hybrid scenario, and you've got the duopoly of, Dame, which is the lady psychiatrist, the human element, and Timothy Olyphant's character, the synth, trying to raise these kids to be different. And it's really more about like, does man deserve to survive at all? And, so we're exploring like, what is man? Does man deserve to survive? And let's do some cool alien shit on Earth while we're at it.
No, I get it. I get that that's what they're exploring, and they're also teeing up like what could be like a really good character exploration between Wendy and her brother. But it's only the first 2 episodes, to be fair. So nothing I'm saying is written in stone. I'm just saying, like, speculating on where the series could go. I don't know that they're going to do anything that's that groundbreaking for me within the franchise that is going to I watch Alien and Aliens probably like at least once a year, if probably more, because I think Alien is one of the greatest movies ever made, like objectively. Is this going to be that? No. Like, and is it going to stand out in the franchise? Is yet to be seen. So far, I'm not sure it will or can. I don't think Romulus did either. We all agreed Romulus was fun. It was decent. It was like the better of the 5 sequels outside of Alien and Aliens. But, the 6 sequels. Fucking Jesus. No, 5 sequels. I was right.
Well, I thought the creep factor of this one was a little bit better than Romulus, because you have the other species to contend with and you don't really know what they are. And so that brings that element
that's
of,
cool.
because you already know what the alien is and what it's about. And like you complained. Yeah. I mean, so that extra element of other species kind of brings
that is nice. Yeah. Because you have to imagine, once you discover something like this, there's got to be more out there. And it is cool that they're showing like, there's a lot of more shit out there.
That also makes my point a little bit more too, because it's like, all right, so where is this what is this series gonna do to stand out now? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's one thing to just, here's an Alien series, like, okay, kind of fine, but like it's another entirely to make it actually stand out. You know what I mean? And be different and like elevate the franchise above what it already is. Can it do that? I don't know. That's something we'll have to wait and see. I mean, so far, like, again, I enjoyed the first 2 episodes. There wasn't anything really about them that I was like, holy fuck, like, this is amazing. Outside of really him doing like a spectacular job at like recreating the feel of the 70s. And that's cool. And I like her. Like, I think she's great so far. I like the idea of a child in the body of basically what is a super soldier.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Because that's what he's doing. He's creating super soldiers. Mm-hmm. I think that's cool. I'm waiting to see like if there's there's got to be some sort of downside to putting a child in the body of a super soldier. You know what I mean? Like,
well, it's like
I think you're already seeing them build that up with her storyline with her brother, because they're trying to get the species, and she's more concerned with keeping him alive and being with him than the mission. So
I don't think that's a childish thing. I think that's more of what you were saying of like the human aspect of it. That emotionality that a human has over just a straight up synth or android. The naivety of a child would cause like a huge fuck up, which we haven't seen yet, which I'm sure is going to happen. But
it's going to happen.
I'm not a writer, but I mean, again, so far I enjoyed it. I'm on board for the whole series, so we'll see what happens in terms of like where it's going to go from here. But like, are we just getting like, I don't know. I just miss the concept of Alien being like in space, nobody could hear you scream. Like you're claustrophobic, you're closed in, there's no escape. Like this is so much different. You're just in a building that's like going to collapse eventually. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I just feel like they got to take it in a different direction.
It is more though, because even the synth leader, Oliphant's character, he's like, well, we got to stop this because if we don't, then it's going to be the end of the world, essentially, if they're able to breed and spread and all this, right? So I guess I see what you're saying. It is different. It's definitely a lot different than just a different threat. But with so many sequels and stuff, it's hard to keep redoing the same thing and people stay interested. So
right, and that's kind of what I'm saying. It's like, you know, what are
I like what they're doing as far as like some people are trying to contain the threat. Boy Wonder's trying to like keep it for himself to like make money off of it in one way or another or something.
So far,
these two corpos are trying to make money off of it.
Yeah, I got the impression that he doesn't even know what it is yet. Like, boy,
he just knows that that's the hubris.
He know that they wanted it, so now he wants it.
He wants it because they want it, but he doesn't know what it is that he wants.
And he doesn't care how many people have to die to get it to him. He just wants it because he knows it's important.
Yep.
But I mean, so far, listen, I like it. I've enjoyed it.
Like the guy said in the first episode, so they can put stuff in our cereal.
Right. I've enjoyed it so far. It's definitely above average in terms of the quality of a TV show that's, you know, mainstream these days. So, but we'll see. I mean, like, it's going to be good regardless. I'm not trying to shit on it. I'm talking about it sort of in the whole of the franchise, but
I get it.
But yeah, so excited to see what we get from it. Leave your thoughts in the comments on it, folks. Tell us what you think. If you know, I mean, it's like lore stuff and speculation and stuff. That's all fun and dandy, but like as a show, I mean, it's, you know, it's good so far. So totally. But leave your thoughts in the comments. Let us know. Was there anything else you guys wanted to talk about about that movie? About Alien so far?
No. Do you think there's going to be any type of Predator stuff going on here?
Probably not.
At some point?
I don't think so. That doesn't seem like Noah Hawley's bag.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to do. I don't think they're going to. I mean, if they do another season, they might. Once another Prey movie comes out and they start intertwining the universes a little bit more, we might see something. But I don't think he's got anything planned like for the first season. But you never know. I
think he's trying to simplify things, not complicate them further. Yeah. And if they do any type of crossovers, I hope it's just little things, like in the new Predator movie that she just happens to be an android from Weyland-Yutani. Does that mean that it's like directly tied to Alien? Maybe, maybe not. Other than that, like in the Alien franchise and the fandom, there's been long-standing theories from fans that Alien exists in the same universe as Blade Runner. Does it actually exist in the same universe? Probably not. It's just the fact that, you know, what's his face made both movies and
Ridley Scott,
and is just sprinkling little Easter eggs here and there. So
was that Bishop standing there with Yutani, you think, when she made the call to Prodigy boy?
I didn't even notice. Cavalier? I didn't notice. What you thought? What made you think
there
it was Bishop?
So? Well, there's just a guy standing there in a suit facing her while she's on the phone. You don't see who it is at all, but it kind of looks like his hair.
Wait, who is Bishop again?
He was the synth. And
him. Yeah.
So he was standing there in the room with her when she made the call to.
You
Boy
think it
Wonder or
would be
whatever.
Bishop over what's his name from the first one? Over Ash?
Oh, I don't know. It could be Ash, I guess, but I mean,
They're just different models.
Well, yeah. I don't know.
Maybe it was what's his name?
Bishop
David.
was more prevalent in all the other movies because he showed up in Alien 3.
That's true.
And then he was in AVP. So I feel like he has a closer link to the Weyland-Yutani company than Ash. Ash was just like he talked about how it was an older model, but yeah. I don't know.
Let's move on to the other thing we watched this week. I know we all watched it. Let me tell you something, baby. Jason might be back, okay? And his return might have been better than anyone could have imagined. Dusty, you reported on this a couple of times in our news segments, I think. Not about this specifically, just about like the turmoil with the Friday the 13th franchise and how it's been back and forth with the licensing to it. And I think as of most recent, like the licensing was split to the original creator versus like who owns the franchise now. And like some people had the rights to use Jason and one party didn't, but you had the rights to use Friday the 13th, the title. Like it was a big mess. I don't actually even know where it stands now. It's all too confusing and I don't actually give a shit. All I know is that there is a prequel series coming out that's about his mother. And then we just got this 15-minute short titled Sweet Revenge. And it came out on YouTube. And what'd you guys think about it? How about you, Dusty?
Before the end, I was like, what the fuck is going on? There's no way that this... Well, I mean, you kind of get it when...
I knew like right away, though, because she's like literally fucking... Is that what... Oh, well, God.
Yeah. When she goes to find, what's his name, Harold or whatever, and you see the dark rings around her eyes, I'm like, okay. She probably died, but at first I was like, no way somebody could hold their fucking breath that long. So what the fuck's going on?
Yeah, she came back like a day later.
Like a zombie.
Yeah. She goes in the middle of the water in the middle of the day and then pops up in the middle of the night. But it was pretty well acted out. It was a fun little story. I enjoyed it. It was just a little confusing. It probably could have had a little bit better writing, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, it did what it needed to do. It introduced Jason back to the cultural zeitgeist. The last time we saw this motherfucker was back in 2013, I think. When did the Friday the 13th remake come out? Friday the 13th. That was back in 2009, even earlier.
When was Freddy versus Jason?
Freddy versus Jason was older. That was in 2003.
Okay.
So, yeah, the remake was the last time we saw him. And that movie was not received very well, although I think it did have some strength to it. Marvin, did you ever see that?
I don't know. 2009, I feel like I could have easily seen this in theaters or something.
It was forgettable.
During that time, just because, but I don't know.
It was forgettable other than the fact that they made him run, which I thought was really cool.
Oh,
because that made him, exactly. That made him fucking scary. He's fucking just hauling ass after people.
I saw this because I'm a Jared Padalecki fan, and I don't remember him being in a Jason movie. So
okay, well, regardless, Jason's back. Okay, and they're trying to bring him back in a big bad way. This is a 15-minute short that is just very simple. Couple kids go stay at Crystal Lake, which is no longer campgrounds. It was purchased by somebody, and he rents it out as like a you rent a cabin for the weekend or something like that. My dad goes to that. He goes fishing at some place upstate New York, and just a bunch of cabins that this family owns, and they rent them out. And of course, it's Crystal Lake. So what happens? Jason shows up, fucking slaughters some people, but with a twist this time, which is interesting if this is where they want to take the franchise. I don't know if that's the case, but one of our vacationers, she's on a boat on the lake. And what happens? But they recreate the ending of the original Friday the 13th, where Jason comes out of the water, grabs her, brings her down under. And like Dusty was saying, she comes back fucking like 24 hours later looking like a fucking zombie. Well, it turns out she fucking died and now has Jason's powers and abilities, it seems, because the whole title was Sweet Revenge. She sees her best friend making out with her fiance.
Yeah. Boyfriend actually, or a fiance actually doesn't give a shit about her and glad she's been missing for a day or so because he's making out with somebody else.
Right.
Another confusing writing point, but
It's all right. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. I
have questions. I have questions about the.
Well, what'd you think about it first?
Oh, sure. Yeah. Maybe that's a good point to start. I thought it was great. No, I love shorts because they are so short.
Yeah.
No, just kidding.
Marvin watched, folks, if you weren't with us last episode, Marvin, in a shocking admission, said that he watches movies on fucking 2x speed. Okay.
That's not
Sometimes.
true. 2x is too much. 1.3 sometimes, got to get it going.
Yeah.
I thought this was good. I have questions about, you said she has his power. So is it that she has his powers, or is it the lake that gives you powers when you die in the lake?
We don't know. That's a good question because Jason did die in the lake originally. But
she also attacked him, so you'd think like they're not really connected, and only in that they're both undead.
No, they're not connected. That's the whole thing. Like
both undead,
which is why I think this is interesting because for anybody who's familiar with the franchise, I mean, what happens in horror movies, right? Like he obviously became fucking like he went from being just this like brute in a fucking hockey mask to this like undead decomposing zombie where like every movie he's like more and more decomposed, which looks cool for a horror movie killer,
right?
But it's also fucking stupid. And then there was this movie, Friday the 13th, The New Blood, that came out in 1988, which is about a girl who is telekinetically linked to Jason. Now, don't ask me to tell you any more about that movie than that, but I don't remember. But this is not that. This is very much not that. Like, this is very much like you said, either the lake gives you some sort of ability to come back. I think it's just the lake gives you the ability to come back from the dead.
Lake,
That's it. She doesn't seem any more powerful than normal. She just is like devoid of, I wouldn't even say devoid of emotion because she was visibly scared of him even though she was dead. So I don't know. We'll see. I don't think they really explored it all that much because like who fucking cares? This was the girl.
They just didn't have time.
This was the girl.
It was funny.
Sorry.
Oh, I've seen her in something.
She was in Fargo. That's how I knew. Okay. Anyway, what were you gonna say?
I thought it was funny that the guy that was making out with the other girl, just like, I guess he just didn't care about his girlfriend that was missing, or no,
his fiance
that was missing for 24 hours or however long it was.
Who knows?
At least 12
instantly
hours.
Moves on.
Just moved on. Fucking.
And he was clearly like 42 or something. He was old as fuck.
Yeah, that was some of the comments on it. Like, I like the 50-year-old dude telling the 40-year-old kids to have fun. Have fun, you kids.
Yeah,
you kids.
Yeah, I mean, it was. I didn't take it as he moved on. I think he was probably cheating on her for longer. It was just like, oh, she's not here, so fucking let's just make out on the couch
for sure.
But this was directed by Mike P. Nelson. He previously did a remake of the movie Wrong Turn, which I've never seen. He did a movie called Silent Night, Deadly Night, a reboot of Silent Night, Deadly Night, or that's coming out actually. And I saw some interviews with him. He was talking about how he would be excited to take on the Jason franchise if given the opportunity. He's treating it just like a little one-off thing for now. So we'll see where it goes. But I mean, this was, I mean, like, I don't know what more you would want from a Friday the 13th thing, right? It's a short, so it's not going to have like deep fucking character development or any of that, which like most horror movies don't have anyway, especially Friday the 13th ones. It's like you get a couple of fucking kids hanging out, fucking, and then they get slaughtered, and that's it. Like, that's the appeal of Friday the 13th. I do like that they brought Jason back to being just like a kind of like a normal looking brute kind of guy, not like a fucking decomposed zombie. Some people complained about the mask. Greg Nicotero, who's like he worked on Walking Dead. He's a very famous like horror movie props guy. He helped design the mask. Some people criticized it. I don't give a fuck. Don't be a nerd. It looked fine on screen. Although I can't say don't be a nerd because I obviously had complaints
look
about
what's in your fucking background.
Michael
like.
Myers literally right there. And I complained about the new mask in those movies. So I take it back. It's fine to complain about it. I think the mask looks fine. I think it looks okay. People complain about the eye holes and like how the design on the forehead looks too much like a fucking unibrow or something. But we got good kills, like Jason-esque kills, where he experiments with some different items. We get a nice boat trolling motor kill to the face that he turns his face into deli meat. We get our man right here who got a fucking pick to the eye. Oh, that was a scope.
The one he was peeping on, being a peeping Tom with. It's the same one. And his apple he had earlier.
Also love how he was able to massacre half their friends in the front yard and string them up on the clothesline while they're making out in the room. Glass window.
Fuck?
That's Friday the 13th, baby. That's what it is.
Screaming.
Yeah, and I guess, it left it open for a new interesting story arc where this girl is now potentially a new Jason. Like what that could be. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe nothing, maybe something. I don't know. But for what it was, 15 minutes, I thought it was good. I enjoyed it quite a bit.
Yeah.
Like it had everything that you would want it to have, I felt.
Yep.
I'm easy when it comes to horror movies, honestly. Like, just give me what I want. That's it.
Yeah.
Something simple. Like, you don't get much more simple than Friday the 13th. Like,
right. It is very easy to follow. And
I'm excited for the Pamela prequel. I think that could be really good. It has an opportunity to be pretty cool. So we'll see. But yeah, this was fun. Sweet Revenge, folks. Check it out. It's on YouTube for free. 15 minutes. Easy watch. You want to see a little modern Jason thing? Go watch it. He mentioned that movie that you had watched, Marvin, that I don't know if Dusty watched it. I never did. But what was the one that you watched that's from Of a Violent Nature or whatever it's called?
Yes.
In a Violent Nature. The director here of this mentioned that, and he was like, well, now you got movies like Terrifier and In a Violent Nature really upping the brutality, so it's like you kind of got to like follow suit. But they did it in a tasteful way. Like, you're not just staring at the trolling motor fucking ripping this dude's face apart. Like,
yeah.
They cut back and forth to it to where
you
it's
see
like,
enough, but not too much.
Exactly.
Terrifier is kind of too much. You see way too much.
That's the point of it, though. It's like supposed to be ridiculous.
But that's the point. Yeah.
Yeah. So check it out, folks. Let us know also if you watched it, what you thought about it. Leave a comment. Are you excited for the future of Friday the 13th and our boy Jason? Let us know. Folks, Dusty was a newsman. He used to do video game journalism, and now he muckrakes for us here on the podcast and for you, bringing you the top entertainment news of the week that you might have missed. What you got this week, Dusty?
Well, we got 3-time Oscar winner Daniel Day-Lewis returning to acting.
I saw this. Nepotism.
Big news. Yeah, he joins the cast of Anemone, which is the directorial debut of his son, Mr. Ronan Day-Lewis. And we have a little synopsis for this. It's being described as an absorbing family drama about the lives undone by seemingly irreconcilable legacies of political and personal violence. Set in northern England, the film follows a middle-aged man, Sean Bean, who'll probably die, rip, who sets out from his suburban home on a journey into the woods where he reconnects with his estranged hermit brother, Daniel Day-Lewis. Bonded by a mysterious, complicated past, the men share a fraught, if occasionally tender relationship, one that was forever altered by shattering events decades earlier. So,
I don't know about you guys, but in this picture, I can't unsee.
No handlebars. Handlebars.
In this picture of Daniel Day-Lewis in this screenshot, I can't unsee Ben Stiller from Happy Gilmore.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It looks just like
that's what that's called, right? The fucking handlebar.
Yeah, handlebar mustache.
Yep. Or the Fu Manchu. No, the Fu Manchu hangs down. That was also probably
the Kill
racist
Bill.
of me to say. I don't know.
Yeah, that's racist.
Yeah, I don't know. This will probably be good. Daniel Day-Lewis,
They're synonymous.
literally comes out of retirement like once every decade to do a banger, and then he goes back into obscurity. probably the greatest living actor, so I'll definitely watch this for sure.
No, they'll get some Oscar noms for sure.
Probably.
Well, we got some James Gunn news. We talked about a little bit last week whether or not who he's going to cast for Harley Quinn. So he's talking Margot Robbie's potential future in the DC universe. He was asked by EW if she would be reprising her role, and he simply stated that will be revealed down the line. Though he did expand upon that statement with another Suicide Squad cast member star stating, I am definitely always looking for a place to put Bloodsport and figuring that out. So we'll see what happens. Bloodsport was played by Idris Elba, so it looks like he may be returning. And he also let loose in another article, the next link, that he's already script writing for a sequel movie.
He finished.
That may have confused some fans into thinking it was Superman 2. Back in July, he talked about this a little bit. They asked if he was working on a sequel, and he said, what I'm working on is in some way, I mean, yes, but it's a straight up, is it a straight up Superman sequel? I would not say necessarily. And then he expanded upon it recently on a Threads question. He says, this is the same movie. Superman has a major role. It's not Superman 2. So we are not getting a Superman 2 sequel. People thought he was already writing Superman 2. He is not. He's just he wrote the script for another movie where Superman has a major role.
I have a theory about this.
Interesting. And what is it? I want to hear.
So he said he further expanded on this when he was doing interviews for Peacemaker season 2. He said he's finishing a treatment for. So originally he said he was writing writing and directing a movie that will be not Superman 2, like Dusty said, but it will be included in the Super family. Okay. There's only 3 members of the Super family: Krypto, Supergirl, and him.
But he's not script writing the Supergirl movie. Somebody else is.
Correct. But then he expanded on this a week later, and he said he's working on what he's calling the Superman Saga. I had sent that to you guys in Discord. Now, that is interesting. That is interesting verbiage. We know,
it is,
because from what we know from the MCU, a saga is a story arc, a whole story arc. We went with the Infinity Saga. We just finished the Multiverse Saga, LOL. And eventually, I'm sure we're going to go into the Mutant Saga. So he's calling it the Superman Saga. So I have a feeling this is going to be a story arc involving the history of Krypton, the city of Kandor, which is where Supergirl is from. Marvin, you might not be familiar with Supergirl. She is not only one of the lone survivors of Krypton, like Superman, but she witnessed the destruction. Superman was sent before. What are you wincing at me for?
If Superman plays a major role in the movie, he's going to be a baby the whole time in this movie? Is that what you're trying to argue?
No, absolutely not. No.
Okay, I'm going to get some time jumps then?
No, I think her movie's going to explore what happened, because she witnesses Krypton's
her
destruction.
movie will explore. Okay, yes. I see.
I think the Superman Saga is going to be more broadly related to the history of Krypton, which I think is going to tie into his parents' message. I don't think that was going to have been real, which I think I have my problems with if they back down on that, because I don't mind that the message was real in Superman. But I think this is going to culminate in Brainiac being the villain. I think that's pretty clear.
It's plausible.
Also, I don't know if you guys watched, but when they released Superman on digital last week, they released alongside of it a 1-hour behind the scenes documentary of the filming of Superman, and they used storyboards as like chapter transitions. And one of the storyboards was Superman, Supergirl, and Krypto flying up into the air, and you see fucking Brainiac's head like in the bottom right. So,
oh damn,
I do think that Brainiac is the plan. Brainiac, Marvin, is a super intelligence AI that basically like ran Krypton. Like he was Krypton's supercomputer.
Oh shit.
He's like Ultron, basically. And so I think we're gonna get in the Superman Saga this story arc about Krypton and all stuff. Because remember the joke at the end of Superman where he's like, oh, she likes to go drink on red suns because.
Oh yeah.
So in the lore of Superman, their Kryptonians are powerful under Earth's yellow sun, or just yellow suns in general. Well, alternatively, they lose their powers under a red sun. Krypton had a red sun. That's why Kryptonians aren't powerful on Krypton. So
right, okay.
she is living with the crushing weight and depression of having watched her people die.
Mm-hmm.
So she's an alcoholic. She goes from planet to planet, just kind of like drinking and partying to sort of forget about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So her movie is going to be very good, I think.
It should be. I'm looking forward to
Yeah,
it.
I don't know much about Supergirl except, according to our comments, she's a psychopath that was going to go on a rampage.
Yeah, people loved saying that. If you want to get prepared, her movie comes out next summer. Read Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. That's what they're adapting for that movie.
Yep.
Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. Okay.
But yeah, the Superman Saga. I'm excited for this. I'm happy.
So, what movie do you think he's script writing then?
I don't know. I don't know. I think Superman's going to pop up in Peacemaker. I think Superman's going to pop up in Supergirl. I think he's writing a
Think we get a Brainiac standalone movie where like how he gets to.
I think he's doing a Bizarro film.
Oh, okay. Yeah, maybe. Sure.
Because they obviously set up Bizarro.
Yeah.
Superman's clone getting sucked into a black hole with a bunch of cubes, right?
Yep.
Like it's very obvious. And I think that movie would just lend itself really well to James Gunn's like brand of humor and stuff like that.
Sure. Yeah, that'd be a good one.
So I think that's what he's working on, personally.
Yeah, interesting.
But I like that this first phase of the DCU is focused centrally on Superman. Like it's not just about him, but I think he's going to be the anchoring figure of it.
It's gods and monsters, so it wouldn't be completely out of the realm for him to make a monster movie.
What it seems like he's doing is Gods and Monsters is like the chapter. Or I'm sorry, Gods and Monsters is the chapter, and then like the Superman Saga is like a sub-chapter in that. Like if you think of an outline, you have like section 1, Gods and Monsters, and then the sub-section is like the Superman Saga, and then whatever else.
Sure.
So I'm interested. I'm on board. I've watched Superman 48 times since it's come out. So
we'll have to see how it does. Yeah, it's certainly going to fall short of $1 billion now that it's available on digital. It's still in theaters too, so if you haven't seen it on the big screen, go see it. But still impressed. Whopping $594 million so far.
Some people were annoyed that he released it so early on digital, or they released it so early on digital. Which we've talked about this before, how movies just don't get enough time in theaters nowadays. He did talk about it. He said that
Peacemaker.
It's very complicated, but more or less they released it because Peacemaker was coming out. So
yeah, because he's got a cameo in it. Spoiler alert. It's already been spoiled, but
yeah, I'm sure he does.
He apparently has a cameo in it, and they want people the chance to watch it at home before they start watching Peacemaker too. So
I got the impression though that he didn't really want to do it this way. I think Warner Brothers probably pressured him to release Peacemaker earlier than he might have wanted to, but it is what it is. We'll see.
Yeah, it's coming out, in a week or so? It's coming out pretty soon.
Yeah, Superman
we got some good shows
comes out Thursday.
Peacemaker, yeah.
Yeah. It was successful no matter what, so either way, you know.
Oh, yeah, like I said, $594 million worldwide, putting it at number 7 on the highest grossing movies of the year so far.
Yep.
That's between Mission Impossible: Final Reckoning and F1, which were 6 and 8 respectively. And $625 million is what it's going to take to put a movie in the top 5 this year, and that's How to Train Your Dragon at $624. But it did well. So it's not $1 billion, which is a little disappointing, but it is what it is. Speaking of impressive, South Park seems to be on fire right now, Dan, making headlines for not airing episodes.
I was told they haven't been relevant in 20 years. I don't know. That's what the White House said.
For the second time this season, Trey and Matt decided to skip airing an episode since the season's premiere. However, this one was not a last-minute decision. It was scheduled because South Park Day was slotted in. They were going to run a marathon of fan-favorite episodes. So the first skip was unplanned. This skip was planned. So, but they did release a bonus end credits scene. Once again, targeting former South Dakota governor and now Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem.
Bro, she kills Crypto in that episode. Did you guys watch it?
Yes. I've not watched it. I saw the clip of that and thought it was hilarious.
Dude.
And they unmelted her face or whatever. But it was.
Kristi Noem, she's the director of Homeland Security. So she made
a quip a long time ago about shooting dogs.
She she was bragging that she shot her dog, and that's why she's tough. Like, she's tough for the job because she had the ability to shoot her own dog. I think because it was like bothering her while she was hunting or something crazy. But throughout this episode, throughout episode 2 of South Park, she just will be in mid conversation and she like panics and she's like, oh my God, and just starts unloading on random dogs. She does it all episode.
That's crazy.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
I gotta start watching again.
Yeah, I kind of want to watch it. It's on my watch list. Haven't got to it. But the premiere garnered 6 million cross-platform viewers, giving it the biggest ratings in 25 years. So whatever the administration's saying is horseshit because fans are clamoring for more content. They'll be able to see a new episode next week. But they're getting the headlines.
In her book, No Going Back, The Truth on What's Wrong with Politics and How We Move America Forward, she describes killing her dog, a 14-month-old wire hair pointer named Cricket. Noam wrote that she had been attempting to train Cricket for pheasant hunting, but the dog proved untrainable and exhibited aggressive behavior. So
had to put it down.
Had to shoot it herself, which makes her tough on Mexicans.
Justified.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
she's right for the job.
Yep.
Yeah.
But South Park has been fucking hilarious. It's like funnier than it's ever been before. And not because it's going after Trump and them. That makes it funny too, but it's just, they're just geniuses. They're just hilarious.
Yeah.
They're just forever will be the funniest show ever on television.
Yeah. Paramount cashed in when they paid.
So I am shocked you didn't even put this in your news piece, but speaking of Paramount, the Duffer brothers, did you hear about this?
I saw that they were thinking about it. I didn't see that it was confirmed.
They signed a huge deal. As far as I'm aware, it's confirmed. I might be wrong. Yeah, they have reportedly left Netflix for Paramount. I guess maybe none of the actual like numbers are on the table, but according to reports, they're aggressively signing the Duffer brothers, and it's a huge offer. And apparently, according to the Duffer brothers, developing theatrical films is what sold them on moving to Paramount, which fair enough. Netflix has like a devout attachment to like not wanting to release movies in theaters. I think that like the CEO, that's he's like he wants to like destroy the theater experience altogether. Like, and he's been doing a good job. Like it's partly
which
Netflix's
is funny
thing.
because they're making their own theaters now. You get the Netflix experience. We talked about that like a month or two ago, where they're making their own little fucking buildings where you can go watch
like
movies
a theme park
and play video
almost.
games. It's like its own theme park. Yeah.
So Skydance is making moves. They're talking about bringing back World War Z. They're fucking got the Duffer brothers. Let me tell you something.
The first big announcement was the Timothy Chalamet and the Mangold acquisition of their movie. But High Rise, I think is what it's called.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. If my wish comes true, the Duffer brothers doing a Nightmare on Elm Street like reboot revival, I'm suing these motherfuckers because I said it here on the show back when we talked about the last season of Stranger Things. So we got the tapes.
Yeah.
No, the Duffer brothers are great. I love Stranger Things. I think it's crazy that Netflix is so devoted to not wanting to release things in theaters that they're willing to let go of the guys who made their literal biggest hit to date.
Yeah, that's tough.
So good for them, though. I hope they make some.
Yeah, they're probably ready to move on from that anyways. If they stayed, Netflix would make them make more Stranger Things, like spin-offs and bullshit, and they'd just be stuck there forever. And like, it's already like the Stranger Things kids are probably almost 40 by now. I mean,
no, they're not 40. They're in their early 20s, or mid 20s. But surely the Duffer brothers have some other good stories up their sleeves. So looking forward to that. All right. Well, thank you for the news, Dusty, as usual.
Yeah.
Good job.
Thank you.
Let's get into this week's review, folks. Marvin hasn't seen shit. So once a month,
classic.
Dusty and I take turns making Marvin watch stuff that he hasn't seen. And this month, I chose Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from 1990. Now, when people talk about the pioneers of comic book movies, two movies always come up. Richard Donner's Superman from 1978 and Tim Burton's Batman from 1989. Those movies created the language for everything we see today in comic book movies. But I have a question. What if there's another movie, one that's rarely given the same respect, that deserves a spot right alongside Superman and Batman as a pioneer of the comic book movie genre? And for me, I think that's 1990s Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It was one of my favorite movies growing up. Marvin obviously never saw it, so this month we made him watch it. And now we're going to talk about whether it actually belongs in that comic book movie pantheon. So, of course, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is adapted from the comic book created by Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird. This is the first adaptation of the characters. And it was directed by Steve Barron and written by Todd W. Langan. Now,
first film adaptation, yes.
Correct, yes. This obviously takes from the comic books and also the cartoon show, which was very popular.
The cartoon was great.
And that is, of course, the famous Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Try to play the video game. Get an S emulator and try to play the video game, Marv. It's hard as fuck.
I love those games.
I believe it's hard as fuck. Those old games like that are ridiculously hard, like Aladdin on the
oh my God, Aladdin.
Sega.
Still never beat fucking Lion King.
Battletoads and TMNT, man.
Yeah. What were you going to ask, Marvin?
No, I said I have a confession.
What?
So I did not know Ninja Turtles was based on a comic original. I thought it was just the cartoon.
A lot of people don't.
The movie.
A lot of people don't.
That's my confession.
If you ever, that's not bad. That's not bad. A lot of people don't. If you ever see Ed or talk to Ed, don't bring up the Ninja Turtles comic books. Shout out. Because as you know, Ed is a longtime comic book enthusiast and collector.
Yes.
He owned some of the earliest editions of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles that are worth a considerable amount of money now. And he traded them at the time for Watchmen. The original run of Watchmen when Watchmen came out because he thought Watchmen was going to be a banger, which it is a banger, but it's not. It is a banger. It's not worth a lot because there's a lot of copies of it that were created. Right. So shout out to Ed. Sorry.
Shout out Ed.
But yeah, it is.
That's like the guy that,
what?
That's like the guy that bought pizza with the 2 Bitcoin.
Oh yeah. That poor bastard.
I think that's a little bit worse.
Ed's punching the fucking air right now. Shit, that sucks.
As a kid, I didn't really pay attention to credits and shit. And so it wasn't until about 2000 or 2001, I thought for sure, that Donatello was Corey fucking Feldman.
He is.
What? No.
Yeah.
What?
You were confused. You're looking at the people who dressed up as them. He voiced.
Oh, okay. That threw me off. I was like, wait a second. That the guy has the same fucking voice as him. I was like,
no.
There's no
That's
way.
Hilarious.
Okay, so that I wasn't.
They're credited deeper in IMDb.
I got you. The voice actors and the costume actors are
correct.
I got you.
Different.
Okay, so I'm an idiot then.
No, you're good. It happens. But yeah, so you might think I'm crazy, right? Like Ninja Turtles isn't typically regarded as a pioneer of comic book movie genre the same way Richard Donner's Superman is or Tim Burton's Batman. Like, I feel like in order to be considered a pioneer of a thing, especially for comic books, you have to establish a new cinematic language, which Superman obviously did, Batman did, in adapting comics. You got to elevate the genre's legitimacy. Without Superman and Batman, there wouldn't be comic book movies today, I don't think. They're like the Beatles of fucking comic book movies. And you have to influence future adaptations in tone and style. Tim Burton's tone for Batman and Donner's tone for Superman is still being replicated today, unless you're Zack Snyder. And you have to break technical ground or like cultural ground, and Superman and Batman are cultural giants. But I'm going to make an argument for why Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles does those same things. But before we get into that, what'd you think about it, Marvin? This is your first time watching it.
First time. This was great.
Hell yes.
I enjoyed this quite a bit. I thought the practical effects were like crazy. Even how old is this? This was
1990.
1990. Yeah,
34 years old.
It holds up.
Oh yeah,
like the animatronic facial expressions are really good. The what I like most about this, honestly, was like that like gritty New York feel to this.
This was back when New York was bad.
It was bad. This was
You don't want to be in this New York. Nah.
This was before the Trump deals.
Hell yeah.
In New York for sure.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
Back when they still had diaper service before disposable diapers.
Hey, vote Zora. It's coming back.
What is that?
Yeah, diapers used to be cloth, Marvin. People had to wash them.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
Before they came out, that's because one of the van that they rode around that got jacked. Was it?
I don't remember.
There was a diaper service van in the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
I thought this was pretty good. I enjoyed this.
Good.
I liked it was actually funny while I was watching it. I was literally like, okay, so Splinter found them rolling around in radioactive waste. How did he get the way he was? And then they kind of explained it later on in the movie. So
yeah, he just copied his master.
Yeah, that doesn't explain the speaking, but
no, he
copied the speaking.
He got some of the ooze on him as well when he rescued the turtles.
Okay. I might have missed that.
Yeah, so when he gives her the exposition, he says he finds them. He's a regular rat.
That's right. Yeah.
Then he touches the ooze, and he also.
That's right.
He was just a regular rat practicing martial arts with his master before he got oozed.
I've seen it all.
Yeah, regular rat shit. I'm glad you.
Second favorite rat in a movie.
Who's your first?
There you go.
Ratatouille.
Oh, nah. I'm glad that you noticed the quality in the practical effects because it's one of the arguments that I could make for this movie. It had groundbreaking practical effects for the time. In fact, they used Jim Henson's Creature Shop to create the animatronics that were revolutionary for the time. And yeah, that's right. The same Jim Henson that did the Muppets. Okay?
Mm-hmm. Legendary.
His Creature Shop, well, yes, there were actors in the suits. They made the animatronics for the facial features and expressions. And like you said, they hold up.
Yeah.
I would take this
100%.
Any day of the week over some CGI fucking slop like the ones that came out, I don't know, what, 10 years or so ago? That live action movie?
TMNT or?
Yeah, TMNT, with the CGI where they looked fucking horrifying.
Oh, I don't think I saw that. I saw the animated one with the kids.
That's one we watched together.
Yeah.
Look at this. Look at this.
Oh no.
Look at this. That's like awful.
Yo, that's crazy.
So I'll take this.
They're trying to do too much there.
Right. I'll take Here they are. Look at this.
Oh. Fuck.
Yeah. It's not good, Marvin. Not good.
I'll take that goofy ass. Oh my God, my girl. I'll take that fucking goofy ass.
Splinter's ear is barely even fucked up there. That ain't even right.
Yeah.
I'll take the goofy animatronics any day of the week. But yeah, Jim Henson's shop brought these guys to life in pretty believable live action practical effects.
Yeah. Who did the practical effects for The Thing?
Oh,
because that's another like super highly rated one for me.
I don't remember. It's somebody who's pretty famous. Rob Botton. I don't know how his name is pronounced, but he's gone on to like be like a pretty like widely known special effects guy. But Alien,
it's kind of crazy what people could do when you don't have the CGI crutch. Yeah, like you said, Alien, like The Thing, Jaws. Like when you don't have that crutch, it's like, oh man, we got to figure out how to make this.
You got to get
crazy.
creative. Yeah.
Like
so it's always impressive.
The shark in Jaws, like, oh man, our animatronics not working. We can't. Production's already over budget. We're over schedule. What are we gonna do? Float some fucking barrels. Like it's that's filmmaking. That's ingenuity. That's there's a magic in that that's lost. Nowadays with the overuse of CGI.
It really is a crutch. It sucks.
And it's cheaper, like we were talking about last week. Like it's good when it's used as a tool, but like it's just all it is now. You're watching actors on a fucking green screen.
Right.
Get studios underpaying CGI artists and working them overtime and making them strike. It was crazy.
Yeah. And the other thing that you touched on too, Marvin, that I think was awesome is that there is that blend in this movie of grit and humor before that was like really a trendy thing to do. You had that like dark, gritty urban realism and the quirky humor of the Turtles, and it like echoed the tone of the comics. It was still appealing to kids because it was a kids movie.
Right.
And like this tonal blend sort of like prefigured that genre fusion that you see nowadays in movies like fucking Deadpool and Guardians and like everything. This is one of the first movies to do that as far as I'm aware. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I mean, I think it is. What about you, Dusty? What are your thoughts on this?
I love this movie. It's a fun watch. It doesn't have the rewatchability for me. I don't think as much as you do. I still like rewatching it from time to time, but I'll put it on the background when I'm doing other things. It's not like because I've seen it so many times. I watched it like you did. I've probably seen it, over 100 times. So when I sit down and watch it, I just I put it on the other day while I was doing stuff in the kitchen and had the TV kind of turns towards the kitchen, but I wasn't sitting down to focus on it because I know it so well and I've seen it so many times, but it's nostalgic. It's great. This one, even the sequel is awesome. Some you're going to have to go watch now, Marvin.
Secrets of the Ooze.
If you like this one. So, yeah.
Not as good, but it's good.
Not as good, but
Don't
still
watch
good,
the
still
third
fun.
one. The third one is terrible.
But yeah, the characters, the writing for all four of them is great. It's just good overall.
Some of it, while I was watching it as a 39-year-old adult, I mean, I watch this movie pretty often. I don't watch it every year, but like I watch it pretty often. But like, some of the dialogue seems like a little cheesy, but it's like it's for kids. And I think one of the things that's great about this movie is it does have like a multi-generational appeal. I think it's good that it's like a nostalgia thing for people our age, kids who loved it in the 90s. And now like, maybe you, Dusty, will introduce it to your own kids that, you have and Marvin and me. And keep the franchise alive, right? Because it's still appealing to kids, even though it's a little bit older. I think we both agree it holds up.
Oh yeah.
And it also, I think it helped establish the idea that comic book movies could be like family-friendly blockbusters without sacrificing the depth maybe of Superman and Batman and like those types of blockbusters. This was a blockbuster, but not in the traditional sense. This became a blockbuster. Like Superman was made to be a blockbuster, right? And so, yeah, I think the fact that you talk about like the nostalgia is right on point.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up watching the cartoons and playing the video games. So when this movie come out, it was an automatic like hit for kids my age. I was 10.
Yeah.
So
so this was actually, Marvin, you had mentioned you didn't know it was a comic book. This is based on, it's a black and white indie comic. Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird were the creators. It's obviously not a mainstream superhero property, but it proved that, non-Marvel and DC could be adapted into blockbuster movies. This had a budget of $13.5 million. And it earned global box office of $202 million. So it became the highest grossing independent film of all time at the time, and it was only usurped by Blair Witch Project when Blair Witch Project came out. So up until Blair Witch Project, this was one of the highest grossing independent films ever.
That's crazy.
And, I don't know that it has the same cultural impact and legacy as movies like Superman and Batman, but I mean, it spawned sequels, merchandise, animated series after this. Like the franchise of Ninja Turtles is still very strong today, and I think this movie played a large part into it. I could still fucking quote this movie like I think blind. Like I just know most of it. I've watched it so many times as a kid. I love the Shredder in this movie, his menace, and let me tell you something, Marvin. This is the only movie that ever made a fucking kid want to run away from home. You see that clubhouse they were hanging out at?
Yeah.
God, did I want to go live there when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Doing whatever you want. Staying up late, smoking cigarettes, drinking whiskey, fucking playing arcade games. And all you got to do is some burglaries for the foot, right? Now, the plot in this movie is a little thin, right? It's nothing crazy. It's just like,
Oh yeah, sure.
you know, there's a rash of crimes in the city that the turtles are going to help thwart. I do like that they did give it a little bit of depth, though. How like Japanese Americans living in New York, April O'Neil was like, you know, going around interviewing them, and they're like, you know, this is kind of similar to a crime wave not too long ago in Japan. This seems connected, and they start like kind of putting the pieces together a little bit. And, you know, Splinter recognizing like you wear his symbol on your brow. That like, oh, this is fucking Orokusaki.
Yeah.
Cool little stuff they did with this. I don't know how much of that is like I'm not actually super familiar with the comic books myself, but so I don't know how much of creative liberties they took, but I don't know. I loved him as a villain back then. And he was like gangster as fuck. He shows up. He's like, you fight well in the old style. Like, I'm going to fuck you guys up, though, now, because you're pissing me off. But, you know, Splinter comes and saves the day. And, you know, you mentioned, Dusty, you mentioned Casey Jones. Elias Koteas, fucking, what a wonderful career he's gone on to have. But, like, he always plays like a villain, I feel like, a lot of the time. At least in movies that I've seen him in. But I guess in this too, he's kind of like a dick. He's
the anti-hero. He's a chauvinistic anti-hero, which at the time it was slapstick humor, you know.
Yeah.
I think this has some good like it was made for kids or whatever, but it did have some deeper stuff in there that was kind of heavy, like Leo grieving.
It has a lot of like adult themes to it, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, that's okay. Like, you know, Splinter's whole his father figure, like that whole thing too is.
Yeah,
like, it's important for kids to see that stuff too. So,
well,
Raphael getting quote unquote shell shocked and then having to, you know, recuperate.
This tackled themes of like teen alienation, right? And like at the time, I feel like Dusty, you could probably speak to this a little bit more because you were a little bit older in the 90s, but I feel like in the late 80s, 90s, there was this like rash of like Runaways and you know, those talk shows like Jenny Jones and shit about like dealing with like problem teens and like all this stuff. I feel like that was like a thing back then. Like it was especially Runaways. Like I know the song from what's the song from the band Runaway Train, Never Going Back? Who sings that song?
I didn't take my fish oil today.
Soul Asylum. Soul Asylum. Soul Asylum did that song Runaway Train, and it's about runaways. And the video for that song that came out in 93 had images of real people who were missing children. And I think the song was responsible for like 26 missing children being found, that like just from a music video. So I may be getting off track, but I think that was like a real thing back then. And so a movie to come out that's like a blockbuster dealing with themes like teen alienation and crime and family, not just slapstick pizza jokes, like it was salient for the times.
For sure. And
yeah, I mean,
during that time too, it was a bunch of it's the 90s, right? So
yeah,
like gangs have always been like an issue. So like that whole thing of like, oh, you know, if you're not wanted at home, I could be your father here, and it's kind of similar to the whole like gang narrative, you know, like where kids just link up with people and they think they have their best interests, but they're really just using them for their own whatever motive they have or whatever they're doing. So
yeah, what were you gonna say, Dusty?
Yeah, I mean, and they even touch on it. You know, April's boss, he's talking to his son. He's like, I make enough money that you don't ever have to steal anything. Like, what's the problem? And it's just, it's that, I mean, it's that teen angst, and every generation goes through it. Every generation goes through rebelling against their parents. You know, you had the 60s was, you know, the civil rights, and then you had the 70s was the peace and love and the anti-war. And then you got the 80s that kind of got into the disco and the hair metal and stuff. And then the 90s was just, you got into that gangster rap and heavier metal and rock, and it was just an explosion of rebellion and people looking for different things and being tired of, parents were working full time and, the schools were raising your kids and it's just, looking for something to find meaning in anything. It was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy time.
Yeah. I think the character of Danny is like a good representation of that because like he's a kid who like really has no reason to be unhappy, but still is. So it's like, it's a deeper exploration of like why. And that's where Splinter comes in, giving him the wisdom of like, oh, I doubt very much your dad doesn't care about you. All fathers love their, I'm gonna get choked up. All fathers love their sons, right? So like, why was he feeling that way? There's you can't discount his feelings. There's something there to be explored, but like, don't just join a fucking gang, idiot.
But it was a lot lonelier back then because like if you didn't really have any friends at school, and all you had was your home life, we couldn't do this back then because we didn't have the internet. You couldn't reach out and touch somebody 1,000 miles or 5,000 miles away. All you had was who you were hanging out with. Yeah. And if there was nobody to hang out with at school, after school, you'd find the wrong crowd. Somebody would accept you, and it wasn't always the right crew.
That's right. That bad crowd that my grandmother always told me about. She used to say, show me who your friends are, and I'll show you who you are. Boom, baby. That's that grandma wisdom right there.
Wise words. Hell yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think this is a great movie. I think it holds up. I think it's widely underrated. Like just in the comic book genre being like talked about. Obviously Superman and Batman, I'm using those movies because they were the big ones at the time. They focused on traditional superheroes, the two of the two biggest superheroes of all time. They expanded the genre to just comic books in general, but this movie here, Ninja Turtles, I think expanded the genre to include non-traditional heroes. Fucking mutant turtles that are teenagers trained in ninjutsu. Like, it's ridiculous. But I think it showed that comic book movies don't have to be about like capes and superpowers. It could be about weird and wild shit and still work. Yep. So
and have fun with it. Like, there's so many just moments in this that were just silly. Like when they were having the nunchuck off.
Oh, that's so funny.
They're like, it's so funny.
One of the better scenes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep practicing. I love how like Raph is like he's just such a hothead and like
he's my favorite turtle. Yeah.
That scene where he's on the roof. Like, what I found most funny about this movie is that they, because they're using like animatronics and like people in suits, they have to match the voices to that. And so in times where they're like upset or like Raph's on the roof and he's just like, and like doing kicks and flips and he's like make the noises that they put to it. It was very funny, but that's the silliness of it. But that whole section of the movie where they go to her upstate farmhouse, like that is like, I think that's
good stuff.
Great part of the movie. Like it's really nice exploration of these characters, like all of them.
Yep. Agreed.
What are you gonna say, Dusty?
We're still supposed to get a Last Ronin movie.
That's coming.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's supposed to be this year. It says 2025 on IMDb, but
let's go.
The Last Ronin is such a good story, but they're gonna fuck it up.
Yeah. We'll see.
We'll see though.
Oh shit, Cass Anbar. That guy was in The Expanse.
Was he?
Yeah.
Wasn't he the guy who got kicked out for like being a diddler? Yeah, he is.
I guess maybe it was fake news because I don't see why they would bring him back.
Yeah, but isn't that why the show ended early? Because he had his like Me Too thing that happened?
Well, that's why they killed him off. That's not why it ended early.
Oh, okay.
They killed him off earlier than he never died in the
story, the books.
Yeah. So anything else you guys want to touch on with this movie or what?
No, Dusty reminded me of The Last Ronin. I can't wait. I forgot about that.
Yeah, I'm a lifelong Ninja Turtles fan, and it's because of this movie. Like, this is the movie that got me into them and the cartoons. Like, and that's what the power of this movie is that it expanded to make characters like this, more film friendly. It might not have redefined the genre the way Superman and Batman did, but I think it definitely broadened its boundaries. And like I said, it proved that independent comics could succeed on the big screen, that practical effects could bring more fantastical characters to life than just guys in capes and stuff like that. And that comic book movies could be dark and funny and emotionally resonant. So in that sense, I think it's more than just a cult classic that a lot of people consider it to be. And I do think it is a genre pioneer hiding in plain sight. I think this could easily stand toe to toe with Superman and Batman for those reasons that I mentioned. So it has a 6.8 on IMDb. Well, before we say that, what do you guys think? Do you guys agree with me? I'm curious. Do you think it's like a genre pioneer or what?
Yeah, I mean, there weren't a whole lot. I looked it up. The independent comic movies, you had the Toxic Avenger in 1984, which is a cult classic, and you had The Crow in 1994. But other than that, this was it. I mean, this was already a hit because Saturday morning cartoons, this was, you could, it was back when they made toys to sell movies, but this was already established and it was loved and beloved. So,
the cartoon came really out. Well. The cartoon started in 1987. Yeah. So the cartoon had existed for 3 years by the time the movie came out. So yeah. But
the cartoon's great too.
Oh, I love it.
Great animation.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, do you remember the one with the aliens that were on the pizza? They were like yellow. They almost they looked like xenomorphs, and they were like sprouting out of the fucking pepperoni or whatever. Yeah, that show was great. I might watch those again. But yeah, so
I can't wait for the TMNT, the movie, the animated movie that came out recently. They apparently it was delayed. Yeah,
that's what he was talking about earlier, that they're doing a sequel.
27, September 27, 2027, I think, is when it's dated.
I liked that movie a lot.
I enjoyed that a lot.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
It was good.
Yeah.
I honestly, I think at the time I said I liked it better than Spider-Verse, and I stand by it. I think you agreed with me too at the time, Marvin.
Yep.
Fuck Spider-Verse. I want to see the Ninja Turtles. Nah. But yeah, so this has a 6.8 on IMDb. Marvin, first time watching, what'd you give it?
First time watching this, this is like an 8. This is a solid 8 for me.
Okay. Dusty?
Plot was a little thin.
Yeah.
Besides that, it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll give it a little bump. I think it's worth at least a 7.5. For what it did, deserves more than a 7 or a 6.8 for sure. It's the animatronics, the nostalgia, everything. But it doesn't hold up as well as some of those older movies, but it does the job. So yeah, 7.5 for me.
Okay, yeah, I think I'm right there. I'll give it an 8 for all the reasons that you guys mentioned. I think it does set a pretty high bar. I mean, for movies, like I wish we could go back to this. Like I wish we could go back to this practical style of movie. It's just so much better to me. It's more charming, even when it looks ridiculous. Like I just think it looks better 9 times out of 10 than just a fucking.
They looked more like turtles than the CGI turtles.
Yeah, it's just it's not even just with the turtles; it's with everything. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. I just don't think CGI is. I mean, I mentioned as a joke like a week or two ago that like the decline in CGI quality needs to be studied. Like, it's literally going.
Crazy.
It's getting worse over the years. So, I don't know. Maybe we're heading back though to a time of brilliant animatronics. Probably not, because it probably costs more. And capitalism, but whatever. But yeah, great movie. If you haven't checked it out, folks, check it out. It's a great one. Holds up. If you're a Zoomer and you want a little hit of old school comic book movies, check it out. If you're a fan of this movie like we are, leave a comment down below. Let us know your thoughts on the movie. If there's anything about it that we missed that you want to throw into the mix, let us know down below. But we do this once a week, folks. Next week, I don't think we have our schedule set up, but I already know we're watching next week. Next week, we're going to watch Eddington, the new movie from our boy, what's his name? Everybody's favorite, Ari Aster. Yeah. Now, we love Ari Aster. We love Ari Aster, but,
star-studded cast.
Yeah, Beau Was Afraid is just...
Crazy.
Beau Was Afraid was a little bit this is a little bit of something. But I've heard nothing but great things about this movie, Eddington, so I can't wait to watch it. So that's what's on the docket next week. If you want to watch along with us, folks, and know what we're watching week to week, join our Discord. It's free. The link is in the description, harshlanguage.tv. You'll find all of our links there, including the Discord. So consider joining the Discord. We post like trailers and entertainment news and stuff on there, and our schedule. So we look forward to seeing you. Leave a like on the video because it lets us know that we're making good stuff. And otherwise, we will catch you next week. Thanks for watching and listening.
See ya.
Pasta.